Hey! Welcome back to Unbound Chapters Podcast. I'm Sandra.
I'm Isabel.
Today, for Smutmas Day 6, we have a two-parter. One video, two parts. We read Beatings from Krampus by Latrexa Nova, and also read a bonus story. Bonus, not really story, but
Sequel.
bonus info by her, so we'll talk about both of them today. Altogether, I don't know how many pages, so like 80 something and like 50 something? Not 50. 80 something.
It was 55.
55? Yeah, so still not that bad for reading both of them, but this one, my goodness. My goodness. First of all, it started off wild.
Strong.
Like,
What's her name again?
Kendra? But we didn't know it was Kendra until, like, later in the book.
Mm.
But yeah, her name is Kendra.
Starts off with her at her sister's wedding.
With her ex or something?
Her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, how is her ex-boyfriend gonna marry her sister? And then her sister's gonna be mad that the ex... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you can...
So, she's at her sister's wedding, and to her ex-boyfriend or ex-fiance, I can't remember which one. I think it was boyfriend.
I think it's boyfriend too.
And,
yo, if it was ex-fiance and then marrying the sister, dude.
And, I forgot.
The wedding part?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. They're like at this wedding, and apparently her ex-boyfriend, her sister's now almost husband, like tried to corner her and asked for like a handy or something, and she went and told her sister, and her sister was like, "They're trying to ruin everything," and was just like whining about it, and then made it through the wedding stuff, and she said something about her uncle was like, that was gross, like eyeballing her or something like that. And then it kind of just cut to where she's like, all right, I'm just gonna ruin this whole day for her. And she ended up talking the priest, who was
Catholic priest.
Yeah, who was
Celibate priest.
Who was the dude's brother. You know, I thought it was just like a funny, let me get this ability to ordain weddings, and then, you know, haha, I'll do it. But no, it was not. This man was actually a priest, and she ended up giving him blowy at first, and she didn't want that fully, so she kind of just weaseled her way into them actually committing the full sin.
Where was it? Like what's it called? Podium's the wrong word, but like the podium.
Yeah, they were like behind it, like on the ground or something like that, weren't they? She wanted to be on the table, but he was kind of already there. But yeah, so they're getting to it. He completes, and
turn around, and the whole
family's there watching.
Party.
What the heck are you doing? Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, he runs away like a little bitch.
Yeah.
And she walks away and she goes, "Oh, I wasn't fully satisfied with dinner. Sorry."
Yeah.
And she just walks away, and her ex, now
brother-in-law, fuck that. Hell no.
Follows her, and he's coming in hot. He's walking with some real speed. And she's like, "You know what? I'm done with this." And she reels back and pop right in the face.
And she stole some kid's sucker.
She wasn't going to.
But you have to. You might as well.
That's true.
Yeah, and then...
Stole candy from a baby.
Yeah. A sucker does some pretty good, though. I kind of want a sucker now.
No.
I guess that doesn't work.
She's enjoying this newfound freedom. Is that not right?
Yeah,
because
confidence, freedom, not added, like, not give a fuck attitude.
Yeah. She is enjoying it. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna do it on my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So she leaves. It's like the next day. Maybe not the next day. It was like not long after. She's like club hopping, and then she blacks out because she drinks so much. She wakes up in bed with not one muscular dude,
two of them, a redhead and an Asian,
sandwiching her.
Yeah.
And she wakes up, and she doesn't call them names, and she doesn't want to know their names, so she calls them Red and Cheekbones. Because one has red hair and one has nice cheekbones.
Apparently, yeah.
And she's talking to them a little bit, and they're like, "Do you even remember my name?" She was like, "No, and I don't want to.
I don't want to know names."
He's like, "I don't even remember what your friend behind me looks like."
Mm-hmm.
And so then she kind of talks to them a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, I've been waiting all night to like do something." She was like, "You guys slept here and we didn't do anything?" And he said, "No, you told us we had to wait until the morning, so we waited."
Wow, what a good guys.
Yeah. So they've been hard with her in the middle all night long, waiting for her to wake up, sober up, be ready to go. And so she gives them what they're wanting.
I like how they rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they gave her an option because she's like, I want to be a bad girl. I want to, change from this people-pleasing goody two-shoes and be like completely opposite. So they call her bad girl, and she calls them Red and Cheekbones. And one of them is talking to her, and they're
you call her bad girl or naughty girl?
Bad girl.
Okay, bad girl, yeah.
One of them is talking to her, and they're talking like, oh, we have options, like, where do you want us to go? And they're like, button original in mouth, button mouth,
yeah,
hand in something. There's a bunch of options. She was like, I do kind of want the back door, but I don't know if I'm like fully ready for it. So they're like, you have until I count to 1 to pick which one you want before I'm giving it to you.
Which, like, at least giving it like 5. What's up with all this?
Yeah. So he says like 3, 2. He's about to say 1, and she screams like mouth and original. So they put her up on her hands and knees.
They're like, all right, literally have like no time to just think about that. Like, we're ready to go right now.
I don't remember who was in what spot. One of them takes the back.
Yeah, they were like, well, who's gonna get it first, and who's gonna do this? And they're like, rock, paper, scissors. Yeah. And one of them, I mean, they both win, but like, one of them lost and couldn't. Just had to go for the mouth.
Yeah. So she's being
rock, paper, scissors. It rules everything.
It does.
It's, rock, paper, scissors.
She was being entertained from behind, and she was what euphemism do I want to use? Candy cane? Lollipop?
Sucking the butter off of some corn.
She was sucking the butter off some corn, and they were all like trying to complete at the same time, and she was like, spank me. And then they were like,
she's like,
and she was
bro,
like, harder. So then he's like,
and they both
had to do it for her to like feel satisfied. She was like, it was not enough.
Yeah, like, dude, just put some force behind it. What's with this little like that? Oh, also at one part they were kissing each other.
Oh yeah, they did kiss each other. Well, that's a little bit after the spanking, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
So whoever was in front finished, then they were both spanking her because they couldn't do it forcefully enough. And they started kissing each other while her and the other one were still working their way towards completing. And she saw them kissing, and their combined smacking of her butt made her finish. And then the final one finished. Was it on the other dude? On her? In her?
can't remember, but
maybe that was later.
I'm sure there was a lot of things happening.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a pretty good scene, except for like.
I was trying not to laugh, but also I just imagine them like.
Oh yeah, she also like. She called one of them daddy.
Oh yeah, I hate that. I hate that so
Yeah.
much.
It's not that I hate
She says that to the priest too.
It just makes me uncomfortable. She said
Yeah.
like, "Please, Father," or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying daddy. I'm not doing that.
Not my thing. I'm not into
I
it.
just feel like it's just cringy.
I
mean, I don't call my own actual dad daddy, but still, like, it just sounds weird.
It does.
You know?
I could never imagine calling a partner, let alone my boyfriend, daddy.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
No. It's just... I don't know. It's not for me.
We don't even have pet names.
Yeah, I used to, but...
I'm not a fan of...
But even then, I didn't say those names, you know, while these extracurricular activities were happening.
Mm.
So, I hardly spoke at all. I was busy.
Yeah. So, they finish, and then they're like, oh, well, we want to stay longer. She's like, time for you to go. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And she's feeling, like, empowered because of how obsessed they seem with her.
Yes, I want possessiveness.
Well, they weren't really possessive.
Yeah, I know.
They were just like,
saying, like
obsessed.
You know. Yeah.
And then they mentioned that later that day they were going to a Krampus night.
Yeah, German Krampus night.
And they invited her to come along. And
it was like that same night. Like
it was the same night.
Yeah, I'm saying like,
oh yeah.
Hey, last minute invitation. You want to come? It's a few hours.
Yeah.
I mean, probably like 10 hours, but still.
They're like, let's spend the day together, and then we'll drive you there. And she's like, no, but you can drive me there.
Yeah, just come back later.
So she goes shopping. She gets like a real skimpy outfit. It's like a bra top, super short skirt, like one of those really short like rave skirts that don't even cover anything. Like you can fully 100% see everything if you're not wearing underwear. Like, which
she doesn't.
Yeah, she doesn't. And like
she talked about
garters
a nice corset that she had from like a Ren fair and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I want to go to her Ren fair.
Me too. And she has the guys right on her thighs. What was it like?
Yeah, I didn't like this part. Like slut and whore and all these other things.
Yeah, she
like
one of those written on her. And they were dressed as Krampus. And they drove there, and they again did rock, scissors, paper to see who would be driving, because obviously whoever's not driving.
Yeah, you get to have fun.
So
you gotta pay the driver though.
I think
so.
Red was driving.
Yeah, I think Red was driving.
And she was, tonsil hawking, cheekbones, touching up on each other. Not like completing anything, just like kissing and touching playfully.
A lot of teasing.
And Red was feeling left out, so she gave him some roadhead. He almost crashed the car. And because he almost crashed the car, surviving the near accident made her complete.
I've also almost gotten into a crash before. Oops. It's alright. I did my job. Yeah.
Okay. Then they get to the event, and they're like explaining to her about the Queen of Krampus night, Queen Krampus, Queen something. And the Queen basically, she has to participate in the activities, and then when she's picked, she gets spanked or whipped or flogged by all the Krampus, and then kind of like she's
plural. It's plural.
Krampuses.
Is it Krampuses?
I don't know. Krampuses. And
Krampuses.
And they basically get to have their way with her.
Yeah, they like carry her together. well, before that, oh yeah, if she wins. But when they get there, they, like, carry her out of the car. Like, she doesn't step foot on the ground, like, at all. Like, they carry her all the way over there, and then people are talking and, like, oh, like, who's this? But then suddenly, like, there's, like, a bag over her head. I panicked. I do not, in a strange place, I do not want to have a bag put over my head. I know, like, I get everything that was supposed to be there, so I'm sure she wasn't planning on being, like, you know, put the bag over her head, but yeah, I was reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, like, something really bad is about to happen, like, this is so not good for her. Like, I started panicking a little bit, and then I kept on reading. I was like, oh, okay, this is just, like, they're, like, hazing her, kind of. So, continue.
She had to get, like, 20 whips.
Yeah.
To be able to get into this basic an orgy.
Yeah.
And she...
It was an effing Coliseum.
Yeah, she had to keep a bag over her head for the whole 20, and then
it was like payment to get in.
Yeah, they let her in after that, and well, she also had to explain why she was bad enough.
Yeah, she was like, I fucked a priest. Yeah. I stole candy. Yeah, that was really funny.
She went in, she like saw all that was happening. There's like groups of people together, just couples. Some people were just like walking around watching. So she decided to jump in. She jumped in with both feet. She was
both feet, both hands,
touching.
That's too much for me.
She was naked.
But naked.
And they start to crown the queen, and she's like looking around trying to find the queen, and she's like, me?
Oh my gosh, I just had sex with almost all of you.
Yeah, she was just thinking about how disappointed she was that the night seemed to be like winding down, because a bunch of people seemed to be like grouped off and like going to bed, or grouped off and going somewhere else together. And she was just there like by herself, and a bunch of Krampus like come to her, pick her up, give her a crown, and she's like, you know what? I'm not done, so I'm gonna run so I can be punished. So they put the crown on her head, she runs. Some of them, the way that I pictured this in my mind, I kind of couldn't help myself but laugh. I just imagined, like, they put the crown on her head, and then she starts running in circles, and they just stand there like, what's this bitch doing? Some of them did nothing and stayed there. Some of them did chase her, but because some of them did nothing, I was like,
they're just watching her run around.
You see her? What's she doing?
Yeah, she's like, whoever catches me gets to do whatever they want to me, and she takes off running.
And then a lot of them started chasing her after she said that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So she hides in a tent, which if you want to get caught, why are you hiding?
But I feel like she was far enough ahead. Like, they did not find her. You know what I mean?
But also, like, the way she describes her body type and her athleticism beforehand.
How did she get so far? Were they just, like, you know, anticipation? Maybe or do you think time got warped and she was able to get ahead?
Maybe their costumes were heavy because they were wearing, like, masks and horns and...
Yeah. Because for once, she's not so super skinny pick-me girl, you know? She actually has some meat on her freaking bones.
Yeah, but, like, if I were to run around naked, I would run slower because, like, there's nothing...
Because we don't have endurance.
I would run slower because I would feel everything moving. There's no clothes to hold me in, you know?
I get it, but, like, we don't have endurance. We don't have stamina. The stairs is enough.
That's true.
Okay? We go to the gym, and I'm not cardioing, okay? I'm lifting weights.
Cardioing?
Yeah, but you need to run. You gotta get that endurance up. I know. I see the face. I agree. I don't want to do it either, but yeah, it seemed like she's like athletic. She ran. I feel like she ran for a good second.
It was like the way it sounded is like she was running for 30 minutes.
It really did. And it's like, oh, I found a tent. Let me just hop inside.
Yeah, it just kind of like reminded me of like dogs whenever they have a toy and they're like, oh, you can't have it.
Don't compare her to a dog.
I'm not comparing her to a dog. I'm just saying the way it was worded when she was running around. It's like, you can't have it.
Catch me, you can get it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought of a little bit. In, like, people form, I wasn't, like, picturing her as a dog. I was just, like...
Yeah.
She was taunting them, but it wasn't, like, doing anything.
Yeah.
So, she goes and hides in this tent, and while she's in there, she's like, I'm just gonna wait for one of them to find me.
Mm-hmm.
One does.
Mm-hmm.
Big boy. He walks through...
Need a big boy. Yeah, he was apparently really...
He walks
really,
through
really
the
big.
tent, and she says he's massive. He's got horns. She's like, these horns look like they're actually, like, he went through the process of getting prosthetics instead of a mask. And he did such great special effects makeup and and she was just like, he looks really impressive. Like,
his eyes are glowing.
Yeah, she's like, I wonder how he did that. And
fangs.
He's like, I heard you're a bad girl.
She's like, no, me? I just ran 30 minutes waiting for one of you to catch up to me.
Yeah, and then he says her full government name. And she's like, who told you my
I feel like she missed it the first time. And then she registered it the second time.
Yeah, so he said it again. And then she was like, excuse me? And
yeah,
he's
like, all serious, like, all fun like that. She's like, are you a fucking stalker?
Yeah.
Like,
And he
who
was
told
like,
you these things?
You're only to speak when spoken to, and then shoved her face in the dirt.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. At least tell me we're starting.
Yeah, and then she was like trying to look at him, and she was like, what's happening?
That part, I did not like that part. Like,
and then she's like, cool contacts.
She really did. Yeah, she's eating dirt pretty much. She's, oh, cool contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part I did not like.
The next part I didn't like is when he dragged her. She naked. Don't drag her in the dirt. It's so hurt.
Well, I don't know if it's, yeah, it is kind of like dirt, but yeah, I just didn't like that, the whole don't speak unless, like, I ask you a question or, like, I tell you to, which, okay, cool, fine, but also, tell me we're starting, because I've been waiting for you to catch me.
I know that he did say, like, use the safe word when you need it, but at the same time, I still feel like a conversation needs to happen beforehand so that you're not just, like, going into it blind.
But then also,
some people probably like it, but...
Yeah, but then also, you know, me personally, yes, I know, let's say, for example, I'm her, I did just make you go on like a goose hunt or something, like trying to chase me and catch me. But also, I've been waiting. Time has gone by. We need to reintroduce what's happening. If you were, like, quick, a minute behind me, then yeah, the game is still on. Like, if I'm sitting here waiting for someone, and like, come on, just don't be so mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that he, like, drug her through the dirt either.
And he's like, you need to be punished for your bad behavior. You effed a priest, you took candy from a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, who told him this stuff? Like, what's happening?
But then also, like, she's at a Krampus thing, and they all heard her, like, say
but
what
not
she
the
was doing.
candy one. She didn't tell anyone about that.
I guess that's fair.
So then she's like, yes, punish me. And he takes her over his knee. He takes her over
I don't like that
knee.
voice. I don't like your voice.
It's not a voice that I would actually use.
But I don't like that voice.
Why?
Punish me. Ew. You just gave me the ick.
I would never say anything that way, though.
It's the voice
But
tone.
it's not my voice.
Neither was that. But it was still yuck. Punish me.
Anyways.
Ew. Change your voice tone.
Anyways.
Okay, we're good.
He starts giving her some spankings, and they're like...
It's not like...
He left the rings on.
Yeah, it was not like red and cheekbones.
Cheekbones. She said it hurts so bad that she definitely got cuts.
And
she
bruised,
was bruised. Yeah. And it was like...
Bro.
I don't know where they are, but they're in a desert. And she said that his hands were cold compared to her butt.
Well, I mean, after you spank for a while, you start to get some warmth there.
I know, that's what I mean.
Well, says you smacking the shit out of her.
I I know, but like if they're in a desert, how is it? It's like that must be like hot that his hand feels cool.
Yeah, plus
compared
inside
to
of
her
a tent. Ew, I hate a hot weather. I just imagine a really hot desert. The heat is just trapped inside. It probably feels so awful in there. But I don't know why I gagged. And then, like, but now that it's nighttime, maybe it feels better in the tent and it's not so cold, but I still feel like it's stagnant air.
Okay.
Oh shit. But they also said it was like
She did say that
It's
she
like-
was a little bit cold.
but she also said it's tent flaps, so maybe some air is able to escape. But still, God they went at nighttime because I would not be doing it in the daytime. With all this heat outside, trapped inside with some heat,
Yeah.
fornicating. That's just too much. You're just asking for a heat rash. Anyway, she's getting. Why did that kill you so much? I was like,
So her punishment spankings, she got 40 this time.
yeah,
That's double. And they like real hard ones too.
yeah.
Like hard enough that she is
Was this one with a flogger, or was that at the initiation thing?
the initiation.
Okay, this one was
just
just
hand with rings. Yow. So that punishment is finished.
This punishment, is this the one where he told her not to make a sound, or is that when he was getting ready to like go down on her?
Yeah, he said. Well, he was doing it, and then he realized that she was compartmentalizing.
Yeah, she was going to a different place, so it was like
he started switching up where he was spanking her.
Yeah,
and
I did not like this.
He said every noise you make is an O that I take away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started like smacking her.
Hoo-ha.
Yeah.
Also,
and her thighs.
Don't
and her butt.
smack that.
Like everywhere.
Don't smack that.
No, don't smack that.
Yeah,
and
please don't. Some people might like it, bro. If someone had the audacity to smack me there, I'm punching them in the face.
I feel like that's definitely like you should talk about that before that happens.
Don't spit on
I had
me.
a friend once. She was for the first time ever with someone. He just smacked her, and then while they were in the motion, he just reached out and choked her. She punched him in the face because it scared her. Sorry. Off topic. Anyways, you have to talk about these things unless you want to get a fist to the face, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't smack my vagina. Absolutely not.
Yeah. So, he's smacking her all over. She's taking it. She's really sore. And then...
she talked about taking the pain and getting pleasure. That doesn't happen for me.
Me neither.
Like... I don't get the pleasure part after the pain part.
I could see that the feeling after the pain would feel nice, but I wouldn't want to endure pain enough to be feeling it as often.
I don't want anything to be painful.
Well, you know, like that feeling like as soon as you're done being sick or as soon as the pain is over, you feel like, oh, wow, I feel so much better.
I don't feel pleasure.
I don't mean pleasure, but
Yeah.
I mean like maybe it's that feeling mixed with pleasure, like regular pleasure.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't feel it.
Yeah. I mean, I also didn't get spanked 40 times in a row, so I guess I wouldn't know. Maybe the pleasure is the spankings are done, you know? So
Maybe.
I also don't want to be spanked 40 times. I don't even want to be spanked 10 times in a row.
I only spanked one time. None. 0.
Maybe
No.
5 or less. Not in a row, though. It's gotta be spontaneous. You gotta be surprised. Fucking love surprises.
And
Good surprise.
she gets a little greedy because she can feel that he's been affected by what he's been doing and her little wiggles of pain.
Yeah.
So she gets greedy and she tries to get her mouth on him. And he's like, whoa there, little lady. You gotta...
Sorry, that's my slipper.
Punished for that.
Little lady.
He's like, you're not in control here, I'm in control. So then he starts...
She's like, oh, but I want it. Like, oh. He's like, stop. Just literally just stop.
She even starts calling him daddy. She was like, I call Cheekbones daddy. He's not daddy. This is a real daddy. And then I feel like I'm missing a part, but the next part I remember is the ginger. Oh, there was a plug.
Yeah.
A backdoor plug.
Yeah. Which, this time just has all the goodies.
Yeah. One of her punishments was a backdoor plug without, like, any prep.
Yeah.
Put it in, and then, like, twisted it around.
Mm-hmm. So it kept like... yeah, so it kept, like, giving her some...
kind of like a
pain.
Like a friction burn in her back door. And then he took it out.
Oh, yeah, he was like, oh, you're, like, acclimated. He didn't say acclimated, did he?
He said, like, you're taking your punishment so well.
Yeah, you're taking it so well, you're getting so used to this, let's change it.
And I still feel like I'm missing something, but he calls it a fake punishment or something. He takes it.
She's like, no, it's a ginger.
Yeah. He has a ginger root and he sticks it in her, which she just got that whole burn situation, and he put fresh ginger.
Yeah, he has like ginger juice on his hands. He's like using his hands first before he puts the root in there. Ugh. I don't want anything to be burning. Ugh. Nothing.
And then he's like, I'm gonna give you more punishments, but if you clench up, it's gonna hurt more because
you're squeezing it.
Yeah.
You're juicing the root.
And the punishment was his schlong, because it's huge, apparently, being forced into her.
And also,
how
come every book the dude has to have a massive dong?
Because everybody wants a massive dong.
I know, but there's a point to where it's too much.
That's true.
Remember that last book where it was like a baseball bat?
Remember that girl on TikTok with that?
Yeah, like, why can't it just be he pulled out his average size? You know?
Nobody wants to read average.
I get it, but like maybe it's in like those not dark romance books or those smut books. Maybe it's in like the coming home, like the country thing, or you know that.
I can read those every now and then, but I can't be reading them all the time.
I'm just saying, like, is it in that book, or do they all just have massive things?
Well, in the ones that I've read, it's been like 12 foot.
Jesus Christ.
Not 12 foot, but they've been big uns.
Yeah, like,
it's always big uns. No one's gonna be like, his 3 inches straight out of his pants. That makes me think of that one song.
Much.
He was scooping up in his hands. He told him to take that little strip and put it back in his pants.
Yeah, that's fair. But like the books that like I read, it's usually not like actual. I've read a few books where it's like actual people, but the books I usually read, it's not actual people. So I'm like, okay, they're not human. This makes a bit more sense. But then I read the ones where they are all humans, and it's like it's just so big, and I'm like, is everyone just well endowed here? Anyway, yeah. So she's got this ginger root in her hiney,
and she can't like clench up.
And she can't relax really either.
Yeah.
She just like tries to relax. She's like,
he's like entering, and it's painful because he's large. And she still has that root back there, so she has to like relax as much as she possibly can. And then he just goes for it once he's in there.
Yeah.
And
to the hips, seated.
She thinks, or she's thinking like how good it is, and then she just every now and then she's like, the burn of the ginger, and no,
we're not happy about that.
No, I just no. I can't even.
No. Yeah, I do not.
That's the only part I didn't really like. Like, spanking, sure, I've read it before. I don't like it, but I didn't mind reading it. Her booty hole burning? No.
Yeah, I didn't like the bag over the head. I didn't like pea spankings. And I did not like the ginger root. I also didn't like that this man is, like, very hairy. I
didn't mind it.
I don't like hair down your back. Well, I do not want hair like that.
I don't want to do it.
I know.
I didn't mind reading it because
I know. Yeah, it's not something that I just
read before.
Yeah.
So, they finish, and he's, like, holding her, which, for aftercare, he barely did anything. For the amount that he smacked.
She has a whole burning root in her.
All he did was hold her. Excuse me? Get a rag, wipe her up, give her something sweet, wrap her in a blanket.
Give her some ice cream.
She is crying hard. Which, of course. Your body just been beat black and blue. Literally inside and out. So he's, like, holding her, and the sun starts to come up. He's like, I have to go. I only belong in the shadows.
Oh, yeah. At one point, he was like, you know what I am. And then she's like, oh, yeah, you're right. So he's like, he also had a tail.
Yeah, he did.
And he jerked himself with the tail a little bit. And she was like, what else can that tail do?
And he's like, if you're bad enough, I'll see you again next year. She was like, check. I'll do it.
I'm bad enough now.
Yeah.
Come back.
And that's where that one ended.
Well, the sun came up, and Red and Cheekbones finally are like, oh, like, where are you? And she's like, oh, like, I'm here.
Yeah.
And then everything is all good and stuff.
They were like, we couldn't leave without you because we had to take you home.
Which, good for you, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all scratched up,
they're
missing
like,
clothes.
We've been looking for you, and they got lipstick all over
you
them.
Covered in marks. You got scratch marks. You've been looking very hard
like,
for me.
Oh, you looked everywhere?
I've been
in
here tent
the whole time.
Why didn't you chase me?
They're like, you look like you had some fun. She's like, yeah.
It was alright, you know. It was fine. My asshole's still burning. Yeah, so
that's
that
where
one
it
kind of ended, and then
there's it's kind of like a bonus. It is free if you go to the end of the ebook. You can click on a link. And you go to the author's page and request.
Yeah, sign up for a newsletter, kind of.
Yeah.
Then you can get the next book. So, like, this book, was it a whole year later?
Yeah. Well, I wanna.
Yeah, you can.
Do you wanna rate this one first?
Oh.
And then that one?
Yeah, I rated it a 4. I enjoyed the story, but yeah, some of the things I didn't really care for. I'm not gonna give it a 5 just because of those things I didn't really care for, but yeah, I gave the overall story a 4. Spice, I'm gonna give it maybe like a 3.
I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy her personality that much.
Yeah.
So I would give it a 3.5. But even though I don't enjoy doing things in the scene, I enjoyed reading about it. I give it a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a 3. I was gonna give it a 4, but that whole root, it kind of knocked me down one.
Really
like
bad.
the spanking, I could get past. Like the root one, like
it started so
you
strong.
can punish me in a different way than putting a plant in my area.
Yeah.
Like do something else. Yeah. I wish there was a little bit more of Red and Cheekbones, but I enjoyed the drive over to this Krampus night. That was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because hell yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I gave the overall story a 4. And yeah, the spice. Like a 3. Things were still, you know, pretty basic, but the root really just put me over the edge.
Yeah, the book does say somewhere on the cover, like, BDSM.
Yeah.
Something.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think There might actually be triggers too.
Did have BDSM, but not as much like tools other than the ginger and the plug.
Yeah, the plug
and the
was like
flogger
very...
for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There wasn't really anything. But in the second book thing, there was many tools. So it's like a year later, which I don't know how these girls be waiting a whole year. I mean, she didn't really like wait, but like a whole year
yes, as much
to
as
see someone
BDSM.
you only see them once a year, one day. No, thank you. That's not enough.
How does she even kiss this man?
Carefully.
He can't even close his lips because his teeth are there.
Maybe he just like...
She kind of looks like my cousin a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
So it starts a year later. She talks about like the things that she's been doing that are bad enough to like for him to come back and see her again. She's been sleeping with lots of people. She's been going out like almost every night, going to clubs.
Mm-hmm.
She's been taking no shit from her family. Been like, you know.
Before the end of the last book, she's like, "I'm gonna go ruin the Christmas party." Hell
the
yeah!
family Christmas gathering. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm gonna go ruin it."
And she talks about how when she was bad enough, Krampus was able to like send her gifts, and he sent her like floggers, toys, chains, handcuffs, and she was in the middle of trying out one of the like...
Yo, this book started off hot. She's like, I'm such a fuck up. Why did I do this?
Yeah, she decided to test out some of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she started with some of the toys, some of the floggers, and then she moved on to the restraints. And
she's drilling holes in her ceiling. She went all out for this.
Yeah, she was... It's kind of like those X things, but like she didn't have that. It was just like whole like chains on her wall. So she was like in the position, chained up, legs, arms, and she had a collar,
chain going between her legs.
So she was like that, and then she realized she left the key to her handcuffs very far away. The one for her feet and her neck, right there.
Mm-hmm. The one she needs to get the other things.
Very far away. So she's like, what if he doesn't even come? I'm going to be stuck here. And that thought alone is like getting her going.
Yeah, no, I'm panicking immediately.
Me too.
I'm putting that key in my mouth before I lock myself.
And she's like, she's freaking out a little bit, but the more she freaks out, the more excited she's getting.
Yeah.
So the chain for her collar goes down the front of her. She starts rubbing herself on it.
Yeah.
And while she's rubbing herself, all of a sudden the temperature in the room drops and it gets
homie is
frozen to her downstairs area, like to the lip.
Yeah.
And she's
like, the way I'd panic, I'm ripping it off.
Same.
I'm ripping that shit right off. It can heal.
Same. And she was like, oh no.
She's like, something's happening.
She's like, he's gonna be so mad at me for starting without him. She's like, but I've been bad.
I've been so bad for him. Yeah.
Yeah, he comes and he's like, are you stupid? You're gonna start without me? You think I can't see you? I've been watching you this whole time.
He's like, your curtains are open. She's like, fuck, I'm on the second floor.
Yeah. And he's like lecturing her, and then he lets her arms down. He doesn't unchain her arms. She's still kind of like together, but
she was like
they're
losing
down.
Feeling. Like,
and she can only move so much because
she's frozen.
Her legs are still chained, and then she's also frozen. And she sees that he's excited by her predicament. And she
comments on how much bigger he seems.
Yeah, he's like huge now. Which she did kind of explain that the more bad behavior there is, the more powerful he gets. So like
she's been doing a lot of behavior.
She's been doing a lot of bad behavior.
So she's improved him.
Yeah.
No one improved Krampus.
His thingamabob is out and about. And
it ain't even dangling.
It is so much bigger because he's to her ceiling. That's how tall he is now.
Yeah.
And she was like, I gotta get my lips around it. So
yeah,
she starts licking the butter off the cob. And this is her first time that she's done it. Because she wasn't able to successfully do it in the first one.
Yeah, she tried.
He was letting her do it some, and then she was like, I don't remember what she did.
I think she got too greedy.
Yeah, she got too greedy, so he like shoved her down further, and just like a little bit, and she was like, oh, okay, and then she like shoved him down all the way, which with how big this thing was described, ain't no way.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Physically impossible, unless it's like that one that we read, the magic one where her throat like...
Where her throat can magic and just be endless. Which one was that? Was that the elf one?
I think so.
Okay.
So she's doing that. He's enjoying it. She's trying to rub herself on the chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he like warmed it up. Let it be warmed a little bit, and
he like de-thawed her lip, and she starts rubbing herself on the chain again. So
he was like, "You greedy!"
He starts heating it up.
Mm-hmm. Every time she rubbed it, it was getting hotter and hotter and hotter.
So then he's like, "You know what? You need a real punishment."
Now
so
she went from frostbite to 2nd-degree burn.
So then he takes her chain and has her like crawling on her hands and knees, and he takes her outside to the snow.
They just like going up some steps or down some steps.
I don't know where they went.
They went on steps, but I thought she was going up some steps. But
yeah, she did went up some steps because she did talk about how.
So did they go to like a roof?
Maybe
to be to the outside.
I don't know. Honestly,
they went on some steps and they ended up outside.
Went outside somewhere.
Which, I'm not a dog. I do not want to be crawling behind no man on some steps, no matter how amazing he is. Yeah. You'll never catch me on my hands and knees walking like a dog.
And she was like, "Master, please,
I also
cannot crawl anymore."
I also hate that too. Master.
So he's like, yeah, sure, fine. And he picks her up and he carries her. I don't know where he carries her to, but they're outside.
They're outside, and she's hands and knees in this cold snow.
Yeah. And he carries her, and she's like kissing and licking and nibbling on his neck. And he's like, "Careful, you greedy little." What do you call her?
Sloot.
Was it a sloot, or did he call her something else?
He called her a lot of things. Not like a lot of things.
He called her greedy again. She was like, "No, I'm not greedy. I'm a good girl now. Just praise me." She's saying all this in her head. Mm-hmm. And what do they do next? I feel like I'm missing a part between what I remember like this and then them doing the fact.
I don't know. I just remember that this book, the font was huge.
Spank her again? Yeah, it was.
It was like really big. That's why I didn't feel like it was whatever 50 pages. I felt like it was like 20 pages.
Yeah.
The font was so big.
I deleted the pictures yesterday. My screenshots because the link is only 30 days long, so I took screenshots, and it was 55. I deleted it. I took screenshots. I got the link from the book.
Why did you screenshot? I
deleted it.
Not a girl. Not a girl.
Yeah. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't know.
I also feel like something is also missing, but
I feel like there was some punishment. What, did he spank her again?
He may have spanked her again, but nothing crazy happened like the first time. He didn't have any like root or anything like that.
Yeah, there was no root, no bruising, no cuts.
Yeah.
So she's still in chains and like...
Yeah, now she's just freezing on her like hands and knees.
Oh no, he's holding her.
Oh, okay, but she was freezing on her hands. I feel like that's punishment.
Yeah. And then he's holding her and he like slips it in, well, as much as he can at his giant frame. Jeez, he's huge. And she was like,
"Why did you?"
Jeez, he's huge.
Oh, I thought you were like saying it like you were just thinking about it
No.
again. I thought that was like a pause in your...
No, I was just thinking like how
Yeah.
big this dude is. He's tall.
Yeah.
I don't know how tall her ceilings are, but he's a big dude.
I mean, mine are kind of tall. I'd say mine are like 9.
Maybe. Anyways, they're outside. He's doing the deed. They're doing the deed, and he takes the chain and he like locks her legs behind him so she can't escape him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not really giving her time to adjust. He's just like going.
Yeah, we just going for it.
Yeah, and he goes aggressively, then they complete, and then she says that they do it, we don't read it, but she says that they do it like over and over all night long, like punishments and the act all night long before she wakes up and he's gone, and she's like, oh, I gotta be bad again this year, and no, I could not.
I'm not waiting a whole year.
Day? I mean, she's still doing stuff with other people. But
You
like,
can never live up to that.
well, she even said that,
Yeah,
like,
so like...
even the doms, masters that she met weren't, like, good enough.
Yeah.
Which, can you imagine?
No.
I can't even imagine.
You gotta finish the sentence.
One day a year you get, like, an actual satisfying for you experience.
No.
Awful. Anyways, that's the end of that one. She wakes up. She's like, I gotta be back again so I can see him again. And she's... Did she say something about, like, seeing him more than once or something? Or am I thinking of something else?
Maybe. What do you rate it while I'm looking at this?
I would give the story a 2.5 just because there wasn't any story this time. It didn't live up to the first one. I would give the scenes a 3.5 because I liked them more.
Oh, she said at
but
the end.
His size scared me.
Yeah. Yeah, the time hit midnight. But it said, when I woke in the morning and he was gone, I knew I had to find him. I couldn't wait another year. So she's going to find some way to
so there's
find him.
Possibly going to be another one. I would read it. I really liked the stories. Even though they're not my cup of tea personally,
yeah,
I liked reading.
I mean, it does say here that, like, if you want more, check out the rest of Naughty So Nice. And we have, actually, the second book, or part of the series, coming later at a different day of
It's a really
Smutmas.
fun one.
So, it is not her and Krampus, but the series. So, something else is.
Is she in it?
I don't know if she's in it. I haven't read it yet. But yeah, it's, I think that's the second book that's in it. Yeah, Latrexa Nova, Naughty So Nice. Yeah, there's only 2 books. It's actually, this is the second book in the Naughty So Nice series, but I don't think they're related. Yeah. So she was that one first. But also, personally, I don't think there'll be another one, because this one shows the first Naughty So Nice book came out in 2021. This one came out in 2022.
But, like,
now it's 2024, and
how are you gonna end it like that?
Yeah, I don't think there will be another one.
I understand why authors don't make another book, but, like, don't do that to me.
Yeah. I mean...
You didn't read it.
What?
Did you read it? You didn't read it.
No, I was talking about the thing, but yeah, I still know, like, life can happen, but it's been 2 years, so I'm not sure if there'll be another one. But if there is, I guess maybe save it for Christmas next year. But yeah, the second one, this little bonus, I think I'd also rate it like a 2.5. Like, a lot happened in a very, very short amount of time, but I feel like he was too nice. You know what I mean? Like, compared to the Krampus night and then to now, like, he was a bit too nice.
He was physically nice, but emotionally he was not very nice.
He was a bit more mean.
Because he kept, like, degrading, which she did like it, but he kept degrading her, but he wasn't, like, praising her. He praised her, like, once. And if you're gonna degrade, like, you have to give a reward.
I mean, he did. Is Krampus.
Krampusy destroyer.
Okay. On that note. But yeah, the spice, again, it was less than the first one. Other than her, you know, being, like, chained up and stuff.
Yeah, there was
nothing
more toys, but, like,
really happened.
Yeah.
It was still fine to read. Like, I still enjoyed reading it. Except for the font being, like, fucking 3,000. Like, why was the font so big?
I don't know.
Like, but yeah. This is, like, our 2.5 book of Krampus. I think I'm good with Krampus. I don't want to read another one about Krampus. But I'm just Krampused out right now. I think I don't know. These girls, they have magical vagines to be taking all this. I'm trying so hard not to say the rest of those lines. But, I don't know. It wasn't bad. I did enjoy reading both of them. Even though there were some parts that I wasn't really a fan of. I still thought it was pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty much it for... Excuse me. That's pretty much it for Smutmas Day 6. Day 7... Day 7, we are going to be talking about the second book from our Halloween series. Yeah, so tomorrow, fan favorite for me, because I really liked the first one, but tomorrow's Smutmas will be book 2. We also mentioned it back on Halloween that we might do it for Christmas, so we made true on our word. That will be tomorrow's book. So, be ready for that one. I'm ready for that one. I'm ready to read it. And then, it's been a while since these characters, 2 months, since I've read about these characters, so.
Hasn't been, like, 2 months for them, too.
Yeah, it's also been, like, 2 months for them if it's for Christmas, yeah. Yeah, so we're all on the same timeline here. Yeah, so we'll read that one, and then we'll come back with another one tomorrow. Anything else?
Nope.
Smutmas Day 6. That's a wrap. Bye!